Come with us now, if you dare, down a rickety staircase into a dank, dark basement. What awaits? The Saturday Night Freak Show.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Saturday Night Freak Show podcast, the movie review and talk show podcast that comes your way every Saturday, whether you're ready for it or not, in our quest to take over the realm. These are the internet radio superstars.
Michaela.
Sean.
Holly.
And I'm Colin, and tonight we watched a movie that was chosen by...
Holly.
Me.
Who do we stalk tonight?
Death. Tonight we watched Deathstalker.
From the year?
1983.
83. Okay. This felt earlier than 83, but okay. Directed by?
John Watson, but actually James Spartalotti.
Oh, okay.
I think,
So,
he's credited as the writer, but he was also...
So is
The
it the
director.
same person using two different names? Or
Yes.
is it two different? Okay. All right. Is it?
Yeah,
All right.
he goes by James Watson for this, but it's actually James Spartalotti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the writer of the movie? Or one of the writers of the movie? Right?
Written by Howard R. Cohen.
Oh, so he was a producer.
Okay.
I saw his
he was-
actual name on
his
screen.
actual name shows up in
Yeah,
the
he
summary.
produced it
Okay,
too. Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okey-doke.
Now, a movie called Deathstalker.
Mhm.
Not a giallo. Not a slasher movie.
No.
Oh.
Not like a big cat on the prowl movie.
No.
Not, I feel
what
like
else could
I
this
feel like
movie
if we're playing
be?
Family
Yeah.
Feud here,
Title.
Deathstalker. Okay, Family Feud, Deathstalker.
What else you
What
got?
kind of movie is it? Number one answer is giallo, right?
A rogue detective with a death wish.
Yes.
I was like
Yes.
maybe Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Death Wish.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Would you? So you weren't expecting like a fantasy sword?
It
movie.
would not be on the Family Feud board. There would be 0 points up there for
I knew
for
what
fantasy.
Deathstalker was,
Yeah.
so this is what I was expecting.
Okay.
But other than that.
Okay. Yeah.
No, epic fantasy would not be
so-
the first thing that comes to mind.
Right. So epic fantasy movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Epic. I like that.
Epic,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
epic.
yeah. Well, but there's a lot of
An
people
hour
in
and
it.
19 minutes of
Yeah,
epicness.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nudity, sword, sandals,
Yeah.
Yes.
Violence.
buff men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Red Brown.
No.
And that's
No.
a point against the movie.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's got to stand in.
But he
I
can't
mean,
do everything.
yeah, right.
He
Red
was
Brown was in
busy.
You're the Hunter from the Future. That was his entry into
Hard
the
to beat.
Which
the sword
He
and
fought
sandal
dinosaurs
genre.
in that movie.
I mean, Yor could kick this guy's ass.
Yor
I agree
could-
with you, Sean. You said that while we were watching the movie, and I agree.
Right, but who gets more women is I'm still going Yor.
I think Yor,
I'm
'cause
still going.
I was
'cause
going
they
Yor.
They were offered up to him.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Be
gave
like,
away
please,
their
please,
wives.
take
Yes.
our
Yeah.
wives.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
why
there
we'll give
were-
it to
yeah,
you.
Yor
It was your
was.
world.
There wasn't. Yor wasn't rapey.
No.
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone
Nor-
in the
He
No,
didn't
he
have
was-
to be.
No, exactly. He was all for it
Yeah.
because people kept offering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Women just kept throwing themselves.
Throwing
Right?
themselves.
No, this
Yeah.
guy, Deathstalker kind of goes up to him and is like, "You got
He's
no
like-
other choice."
It's like
do you?
I saved your life. Take it
Right.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, that's
It's
fair."
like, well, that's a fair trade.
right. But still, there was no like automatic attraction. I don't
Well,
think.
Right.
What are we supposed to feel about this man?
But Deathstalker?
How do we feel
Is he
about Deathstalker?
Like a
He's the anti-hero. He's the
Okay.
anti-hero.
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
might have needed a few more save the cat moments to balance out the rapiness, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or crack a fucking joke, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he has no personality. Who's the guy who
No.
plays this
Yeah.
Deathstalker?
This gentleman.
His name is Deathstalker. First name Death, last name Stalker.
But it's one word.
I know, but sometimes some people call him Stalker,
Right.
and you're like, oh, you call him
Yeah.
by his last name? Nobody calls him Death, I suppose. So we don't have that.
Nobody calls him Death. Just
He's just
Stalker.
Deathstalker. That's his name.
No, 'cause that's more fun to shout out in a cave in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Stalker.
That's fun.
Find the Deathstalker.
Deathstalker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by Rick Hill.
Who is?
Not much of
Nobody.
an actor.
Yeah, I think
don't
he was
say.
like a former
He's a body.
football player
He's a
or
body
something
with a
like
wig.
that.
Rick Hill is a #1 New York Times
haircut.
best-selling author.
Get out.
What?
For what?
What do you write?
He wrote the best-selling book Pete Rose Might Prison Without Bars.
What?
Mm. Wait, did I
Yeah.
hear, is he
Yeah.
an inspirational speaker now?
Oh yeah.
But he used to be a football player.
He was a football player in college.
Okay.
He was on a beach in California and someone discovered him. And then he started
Someone's like, do you like swords? He's like,
like,
"I do."
wait,
Do you like sandals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're buff
You're
and
already on the
handsome.
beach, so you like
It's like,
sand.
it's like you're buff and handsome. I see you're wearing sandals. Would you also like a sword?
Yeah.
No, he was a college star football player in college, and then he got discovered on a beach, started acting. And then eventually he became a very successful script doctor, and he became an author, and he's a New York Times bestselling author.
Wow.
Well, good for Rick
I know,
Hill.
he's actually had a very cool life.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He's got some good stories.
Yeah, he's had a cool
For as
life.
much as we may not think of him in this movie, like you said, he's lived a life.
He comes back for Deathstalker 4.
4. Yeah,
I'm
not,
sorry. I
haven't
not
seen
2 or
that one.
3. He comes
4.
back for 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. Have
Which
you seen
is
it?
called Match
No.
of the Titans, not Duel of the Titans, which is the second one. Match of the Titans.
Match
Yeah.
of the Titans?
Yes, from
Oh, that's a bad name.
1991.
Yeah. There's 4 Deathstalker
And then-
movies, I
yes.
think, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Deathstalkers and the Warriors from Hell. Yes.
That's the 4th one or the 3rd
That's
one?
the third one.
Third one, okay.
Yeah, that sounds like you get the Bat people from.
Yeah.
Uh,
From
Beastmaster.
yeah. Well, see, that's all, like, you're thinking about, like, where does this movie come from and what's going on around this time.
Yeah.
Sword and the Sorcery is possible again because of Conan the Barbarian, right? The year before, 1982.
right.
Okay.
This movie happened because Roger Corman wanted to capitalize on the
Yeah.
Conan the
Oh, yeah.
Barbarian
As Roger
success.
Corman is wont
Yeah.
to do.
Right.
Yeah, we mentioned he's the executive producer. What our own
Yes.
New World Pictures is a
Yeah.
New World Pictures joint.
Yeah, this was his last movie
with New World.
With New World Pictures. He had already sold, and this was like the last movie deal.
Okay.
So they agreed to still put this out.
Yeah, he sold that,
Mhm.
and then we got after Roger Corman, you get the logo with the red like moon looking
Yeah.
thing. So then he started New Concord, then New Concord, New Horizons. He just kept
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
All right, Roger Corman names his production companies like I name my passwords when I have to update them at work.
Seriously, yeah.
I'm just going to add another letter or another number to it
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, New World,
Until
New
they're gonna
Horizons.
change it again.
You know,
Yeah, Concord,
New Concord. That's how you do it. So he just kept on making
Exclamation
movies.
point.
Yeah, exclamation point, 000.
What did they get in the sale? When they bought New World Pictures, just the name, or did they get the film library? I don't know.
That I don't know.
I think we decided that. It's like he builds up a library under a name and then sells it off so we can start a new one and make more movies.
But I think he still owns the movies from his New World Pictures.
Sure.
Yeah, because they're all in Shout Factory bought them and they were like re-releasing them or whatever.
Yep.
But like Sword and the Sorcery movies aren't new, right? Like they had been around since the Hercules movies, right? In like the
No.
60s.
Have done. on
We
this
watched
show,
we
so
watched
at
Lou
least the one-
Ferrigno.
watched one.
We did watch the
Yeah,
Ferrigno
not the
one,
original,
yeah.
the Steve Reeves one. See, Steve
Yeah.
Reeves was the guy when he played Hercules.
What a name.
He inspired Arnold Schwarzenegger, right, to become a bodybuilder because I think he was a Mr. Olympia. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger did Conan the Barbarian. And Conan the Barbarian had been around since, listen to our show, right?
Right,
Robert
yeah.
E. Howard wrote that in like the
There you go.
20s.
Smart Colin, don't explain it.
Yeah.
Point to a different show.
We did the Conan the
Previous
Barbarian.
episode.
Although, I do have to say something about the artwork, the poster art for the Deathstalker, all 4 of them, right?
Mm, who did these posters, Colin?
Boris Vallejo. And how would we know Boris Vallejo?
I mean, which one?
Well,
Yeah.
well, movies or paintings. It's like he was a fantasy painter. There's basically, when I think of like fantasy painters, I think of Frank Frazetta
Yeah.
Rosetta's who's I think.
and Boris Vallejo is the other one. So if you've seen a fantasy painting, it's either one or the
Also,
other. Or
if-
his wife.
I was
right?
like,
Julie-
also, if you've seen the European Vacation poster.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
I
He
forgot
did
about
that, yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
That's right. He did a couple of other
What's he holding
like
up in
big
that
Hollywood
one?
movies.
Yeah.
He's holding some because it's.
Oh,
it was-
yeah, what
it
is he
was-
holding up?
And one, he's holding a tennis racket. That might
Yeah.
just be vacation.
Oh,
but,
now I gotta
yeah.
look it up. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see what he's holding in that one.
He was famous for like all those Tarzan and he did Conan with Frazetta. They each did their take on Conan, but
Beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, like up. Just
I know that one.
beautiful.
That one looks like a Frazetta.
Yeah, it
Deathstalker
does.
2. Really does.
They're
have
like
that.
the overly like taut, sinewy muscles, really like high
Very
contrast,
shiny,
very exaggerated veins and everything, very
Yep.
shiny. Yeah.
It's
they're
like
great.
The ultimate people.
Yes.
yeah,
That's what
and which
we're
would
doing.
go on to be like heavy metal in the 1980s.
yes.
Also, kind of had that
Yeah.
fantasy
Yeah.
look. Guys with axes
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So this one doesn't have the budget of Conan.
No shit.
I would say it might not even have the budget of Yor. You know, there's some
Yor had
spots.
dinosaurs and shit.
This man, the sets, just like Colin, I agree with you. The lighting was not helping, but they also really half-assed the sets and then chose to light them as brightly as they possibly could.
Yes,
There's some you could see
it.
like harsh spray paint lines.
Yeah.
The, like texture of the brick and the stone.
I mean, he's in European Vacation. He's holding a broken champagne bottle.
Is it?
No,
Yeah.
nice.
But he's got a beret.
Is it
And that's-
regular Vacation? He's holding like a tennis racket? Or
Yeah.
something? Okay,
Yeah.
Vacation. He's holding a tennis racket. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Amazing. Amazing.
I guess when you're talking about the sets, I did like the fact that they went and built all these sets, but
Yeah.
there is like there's a lot of sets, like big
Right.
sets in this movie, so it has a scale. But yeah, you're like, okay, but they're spray painted. There's a lot of makeup effects work in this movie, which I guess it's like, well, you give credit. There's a lot of makeup effects
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
but a lot of it does look like high school drama play.
Mhm.
Yeah. The amount of pancake they used in this
Yes.
is just
The
astounding.
blood packets too.
Oh
You
my
can tell,
gosh.
Like, when they're pushing on him and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're pushing Jello through your teeth.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has massive amounts of powder and blush. It's just amazing.
I don't think this was Roger Corman's first sword and sorcery movie, right?
I don't
oh
think
no,
so.
not if we're in the 80s. No, we had to have done
Yeah,
one before this.
no.
I think actually, right now that I'm thinking about it, when we talked about Conan, I think he did The Sword and the Sorcerer.
Did he do that?
Yeah, and that was released by like Columbia or something.
That was a big one.
And that was a big one. It was a big hit. And so then he was like, well, we got to keep making more of these. And then Sorceress, we said, but I can't remember if that was after.
Ooh,
Which Sorceress you got to go back and listen to our
listen to that
Sorceress.
episode.
Yeah.
That's a good episode. Again, Lion.
That one was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. And then this one, and then he did a bunch of other, like obviously made a bunch of Deathstalker movies, made Barbarian Queen, made The Warrior and the Sorceress with David Carradine. So there was,
was Sorceress.
okay.
Really?
So it's the
Okay.
same year as Conan.
So we're
Yeah, it
doing,
was
we're
the year
doing some
before.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Sword and the Sorcerer went to theaters. I assume Deathstalker did, and
It
all the
did.
sequels were direct to video or whatever.
Yep, it went to theaters.
I didn't realize The Warrior and the Sorceress was a David Carradine movie.
Yeah.
Oh
Right
wow.
there.
Yep.
Okay.
So aside from Rick Hill, who we cast as Deathstalker, because he looks brawny,
Yep.
right? He
Yep.
looks like He-Man,
He
kind of.
does, yeah.
Yep.
Who else is in this movie?
Also starring Barbie Benton.
Barbie.
Barbie Benton.
What? Playboy Playmate. Was she a
She was
a
not-
wife of?
She
Yeah.
was a girlfriend,
girlfriend.
Wasn't she a wife for
Nope.
like?
not
No,
a wife.
Kimberly Conrad was
Yeah.
a wife.
Yeah, she was.
he didn't marry too many people.
She was Hugh Hefner's girlfriend from like 69 to like 76 or something
Yeah, it
like
was a
that.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As soon as she turned 18,
Yeah.
yeah.
of course.
She was like
Yeah.
the Playboy Playmate, I think,
She-
for a while.
But she was never like a playmate because Hugh Hefner had a very strict rule that his girlfriends were never centerfolds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like not until The Girls Next Door. He would
Yep.
never let them be centerfolds. They'd be on the cover or they'd be like featured, but they would never be a playmate.
He didn't. What? He didn't want to show favoritism.
No, it was because he was very controlling.
Those were his
Controlling, yeah.
He
property,
always
yeah.
held that over their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, like eventually someday you'll get it.
Maybe if he
Oh,
gets,
is that the-
because maybe
He
if
was
they get it,
always-
they leave him, and he wants to. Because he is. I mean,
Because they get like a big cash prize, they get a car, like they
Yeah.
get all this stuff,
Right, yeah.
and yeah,
He loved to manipulate them against each other all the time.
100%.
Always,
yeah.
always
Yeah.
playing mind games.
yeah, yeah. And I first because I didn't really know anything about Barbie Benton until The Girls Next Door. I used to watch that all the time, and she was on that show quite often.
Yeah.
I bet.
Because I remember Holly Madison and the other girlfriends would get really annoyed that she was like still around.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're
all
like,
these years,
yeah, because she was still like really close to Hef after
Yeah.
all this time.
Yeah.
She's like, they broke up in like the 70s, and this bitch is still coming around. And they would like go visit her at her house, and it was just so awkward. And she's also a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
She is. Yeah, I actually have that in my notes. Like, how is Barbie Benton known? I was like, she's known as a fucking idiot.
Why so?
Here's an example. She's famous for this quote right here. I believe that mink are raised for being turned into fur coats, and if we didn't wear fur coats, those little animals would never have been born. So is it better to not have been born or to have lived for a year or two to have been turned into a fur coat? I don't know. That's Barbie
Wow.
Benton.
Well, Playboy isn't known for employing scholars, you know. So
I know she was well
Can't say I'm
regarded. She
surprised.
was like popular. Like she was on the Hollywood Squares a lot.
She actually like did a lot. She was on a lot of TV. She had an arc on Fantasy Island.
Okay.
That was like her big TV thing, was an arc on Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did some stuff. This was her last like movie role that she showed boobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she stopped after
she got
this.
serious after this?
Oh yeah.
Hollywood Squares, Beckon.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy Island, Beckon.
Yes.
Who else is in the movie?
Very, very prestigious episode of Love Boat, I think.
I was going to say, if we did Fantasy Island, Love Boat is...
Well, she's not the only bare boobs in this movie. Who owns the other pair?
No, we also have Lana Clarkson.
Yeah.
Lana Clarkson.
Is that the blonde?
That is
Yeah.
the blonde,
Okay.
yeah. And she eventually...
I don't want to disrespect these people by only calling them out by characteristics, but the names are not sticking with me.
No.
Also, they're hard to say.
Yep.
Like, and nobody really clearly says most of the names in this movie.
No,
name
but-
me two other
Thraldar.
characters.
Yeah, Barbie Benton was Codile.
Princess
I was gonna say,
Codile.
yeah, name me
Princess
two
Codile.
characters off the top of your head. I
yeah.
doubt you can do it. I
Ri-
can't.
And then there was Ogress. Lana Clarkson played Kara,
Kara.
something like that.
No, but they really never say her name.
They don't, yeah. There's not much talking, to be honest.
It really
Lana-
isn't.
I don't. Yeah, because Barbie Benton, I think, had how many lines in the
Like,
movie?
not
Like,
many.
not
Yeah,
many?
yeah.
Maybe?
But Lana
Where's
Clarkson,
mine? I remember that one.
Yep.
She delivered that pretty well.
Lana Clarkson doesn't do a lot in this movie, but she goes on to star as a Barbarian Queen.
Oh, nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Was she in other more than just these two?
Yeah, she's in a couple more, but I don't remember what they were.
But Barbarian movies or whatever.
Barbarian Queen was her big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Also, she wielded a real sword in this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But her fame was overshadowed by her death. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
she was killed by Phil Spector.
What?
Really? That's the Phil Spector? Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember they used to say like B movie actress Lana
Yeah.
Clarkson.
Oh.
Okay.
Now you
Wow.
have seen
Wow.
the Lana Clarkson B
Wow.
movies they were talking about. Yeah, I know that's
Okay.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. I mean, she seems cut out for these type of movies. You
Yeah,
know,
she
she
seems
had a
all
little
for
bit
it.
of a career. I've seen Barbarian Queen, but I don't really recall
It's like the
anything
Shannon Queen
about
of Barbarian.
it. Right? Yeah, yeah. And there was another surprise name in the cast.
Bernard Earhart.
Bernard Well,
Bernard Earhart.
I don't know who he is, but Richard Brooker.
Richard Brooker.
Yes, Richard Brooker.
He's so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this-
Jason.
from Friday the 13th.
Part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he got that right. They always cast stuntmen as Jason, and he's a stuntman because he's doing a lot of like
He is.
stunt work in this.
It's funny. I always imagine the stuntmen who have played our slashers over the years, Jason, Michael Myers, even Ghostface and everything, as being older gentlemen for
Right,
some reason.
like
'Cause
Ted
they-
White or something. Because I think he was. You know,
Yeah.
Or who played him in 2, or Michael Myers in 2.
Dick Warlock.
Dick Warlock and everything. They just seem like they've been older gentlemen from what I mean, I've only met, by the time I saw
Yeah,
these
you're
guys, it
meeting
was
them
later on in
later,
life
yeah.
and they were older gentlemen. But Richard Brooker is a young man in this movie.
I mean, when I met Richard Brooker at a convention, he still seemed relatively young. I didn't know at the time because he was there for a Friday the 13th thing.
Yeah,
I
of
didn't know he
course.
was in Deathstalker. I don't know how many other roles he had.
Not many.
I mean,
His-
because
his
you know,
filmography's short.
but he's an okay like on-screen performer based on this, and you're like, well, we remember him wearing a hockey mask and
Yeah.
but-
I wouldn't suspect this jacked young man to be like, oh, that's Jason.
yeah.
I know. You're like, oh, he's handsome.
I got him to sign my poster, and I want to say like a year or two after that he died.
Oh,
I
man.
can't remember what he died of, but I mean, I don't think he was older. He couldn't have been
Couldn't
like
have been
maybe
old,
his
no.
60s
Right.
or late 50s or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, so we've set you up. It's a fantasy film from Roger Corman. It's filmed where?
Argentina.
Right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you know the backstory on how Roger Corman got this produced with this amount of cast and all that?
Tell me.
He apparently made a deal with an Argentinian studio.
Okay.
I was going to say drug
Yeah.
lord.
A drug lord. I don't know. Did
Sorry
they shoot
if
it
we
in
think
Buenos
that only
Aires?
Argentina
Yeah.
gives us drug
Okay.
lords, but-
And it was basically like
Which I've been to Buenos Aires. It didn't look like this.
right. Well, there's on the back a lot of whatever, but it was some deal where he would pay for the crew, right? But the other guy paid for like all the equipment and all the industry, so the sets and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But we'll pay the crew to build it. and you provide all the stuff. And so it's a half and half deal. And so he was able to like get a lot more for his American dollar at the time than I guess.
I mean, that's savvy.
Yeah.
Roger Corman. Man's always looking for a deal or a bargain. Yeah.
That's his hallmark.
Yeah. It's everything you can out of that almighty dollar.
Mm-hmm. Which he did. How much do you think the budget was for this movie?
$250,000.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
$8 million.
Michaela?
I'm gonna say $300,000.
You're pretty close. It's $457,000.
Wow.
All right, you gonna
Yeah,
go
it's
with the showcase?
cheap. Yeah. Yes.
$450,000 in
about right.
1983. Yeah.
I'm gonna smack you for
Yeah,
saying
no, $8 million. I was like,
I know,
yeah,
I was like,
because what even the big movies cost $8 million back
Yeah. And this movie looks like shit.
then. Yeah.
The
See the
costumes
spray
are
paint on those
particularly bad. Yeah.
It made money, though.
Yeah.
How much?
How much do you think?
$8 million.
How much?
I was say it made like $800.
I'm gonna say it made $5 million.
$5 million.
There you go.
wow. Okay, all
The
right.
theatrical release
It's a
made
hit.
$5
It's a
million,
hit.
and then
that's
and
money.
then eventually 11.9 with rentals.
All
and
right.
everything.
Well,
go.
okay.
There
So
you
it
go.
made money.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, I mean, enough to spawn sequels. And I remember working in a video store in the 90s. There were Deathstalkers like coming out all the time, it felt like. So clearly it was something that people rented. And so they just kept on making more of them. What is this movie about? Okay. So okay.
Boy.
Don't
Sure.
dissect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How dare you?
Is this a
It's
movie?
about 5.
Is it a movie? I don't know, Colin.
Does the plot get in the way of the story in this movie?
If there was plot and story, yes, they would be getting in the way of each other. But
I think you're asking the wrong questions, Colin. I feel like, can you find the plot in this
Yeah.
movie?
There's too much plot. I think
Too
that's
much plot,
Yeah,
okay.
but I mean, the story I think I get because you got to like whittle away all the incident. There's a lot of There's a lot going on in this movie.
The story, I mean, if you want to break it down to like brass, it's very simple, right? It's very simple. It's guy has an opportunity to go to a big tournament to win a grand prize and kill a mad sorcerer.
It's not even that. He's trying to unite. Like I said before, he's trying to unite the Deathly Hallows so that he can become the power. Like that is his original goal. The tournament happens to be where everything is going on,
Mhm.
but he is sent by a witch. It's like you've got the sword, you need the amulet, and then the chalice, and I'll get all 3 powers to become the power.
Yep, because currently that power is partially held by Munkar. I remember Munkar.
Munkar.
Burn it or heard.
A fine actor. He actually sells it.
Honestly, he's good.
He's good.
He's great.
Yeah, because he's playing it like serious.
Yeah, which you would hope your bad guy does.
And he's got like a big bald head and like a tattoo.
What year
of
was Flash Gordon?
80?
Ooh.
This had major Flash Gordon vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also like a big. That was
Yeah,
a
because
big
what's his name
Italian.
plays a bald dude with a goatee in that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the bad guy. Yeah.
What was
Ming
it?
the Merciless.
Ming the Merciless.
Who
Yeah.
plays
And then
Ming?
Max von Sydow.
Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow. And then the Barbie Benton character, like just her general look very much looks like what's her face in Flash Gordon?
Yeah, Dale. Right? Her name is.
Dale.
Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
It was. What's the actress's name? I can't remember.
I know, I can't
Melissa.
remember.
No.
Yeah.
Melinda. No. Okay, it'll come back to us. And Melissa Anderson or something like that. I can't remember.
I
But,
was so
Melody Anderson
Damn it.
Melody Anderson.
played Dale Arden.
Dale Arden,
I'm
okay.
still bitter that you did that before I came on the Freak Show. I fucking love that movie.
Flash.
I mean, it's probably been long enough.
I was gonna say, two of us weren't here, and it's been over 5 years. I wasn't here. Oh shit!
You can always bring it back.
So we got we are introduced. How are we introduced to Deathstalker before he gets his assignment?
He interrupts a raping.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there seems to happen a lot in this
A
movie.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's unfortunately a rapey movie.
It's a very rapey
this full
movie.
scene's dedicated to
Yeah.
it.
Especially for a movie that we said, what's an hour and 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
significant portion of that is
Yeah.
rape.
I would say like 45 to 50
Yeah,
minutes
the-
of that is
Yeah.
rapey.
The RPMs, the rapes per minute,
Yes. Are just out of
is
control.
really off the charts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that dial's just going up. That gauge just keeps going up.
I did read a review that someone was like, by the 6th rape, I lost count after that.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
that is what it is.
because it's just
yeah.
like I mean,
rape and pillage the movie.
Yeah,
there's-
right?
Yeah, and I guess it's like okay, so what are they going for here? Is that like
Barbarian. barbarian.
Barbarian or whatever. But there was that harem scene or whatever at the tournament.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, it's like you can have all the women, but like, and every close up that they cut to, it's
an
like,
ass.
Well, but it was all these like unwilling women,
Right.
you know, in these scenes being like attacked by these guys. It was like, is that intentional? Is that what's happening? Is it just the general mood that they're trying to give? Yeah, because I remember when I first saw this movie, I don't know, it was like really distasteful. I guess I don't know, sensitive to it or something on that viewing. Less so tonight. You know, it's like, okay, I can see you know, other things that are going on, but so he interrupts this. There's a woman who's like,
she's like tied up against a tree, and there's a guy that's like trying to attack her.
And then he's being attacked by these other like half men.
There's an attack.
People.
There's an attack upon attack upon attack.
Right, because there's a sneak attack at the very beginning, and then they're dispatched.
Yeah.
But then he attacked. Yeah.
And then Deathstalker shows up because the guy is like gonna steal Deathstalker's horse.
Yeah, it's
And
like
so-
there's this.
Right,
there's
that's my horse.
There's a barbarian about to rape a girl, and then a tribe of like mongrels attack him
To get the girl.
to get the girl.
Yep.
He
then-
flees.
He flees, and then eventually Deathstalker
Kicks everyone's ass.
kicks everyone's ass.
And then the original guy's just like, we can share it.
And he's
it'll be
like,
all right. No,
nope.
you can have all of it.
like, nope, stabby, you're done.
So he just kills that guy.
Just kills him, and then he's like, well, I'm not going to rape you, but you owe me.
Yeah. She does run away, I guess, because he is summoned by a plot point that I'm not entirely sure went anywhere else in the movie.
Right? Because that guy shows up later. I'm like, wait, we didn't talk to him
Right.
before. Because he's like, hey, wait outside till I'm done. And then we didn't get to it,
Well,
did we?
I think what was happening was that guy was a messenger for the
Right.
king,
Okay.
who was
Yeah.
like camped outside and like, oh, he killed a bunch of dudes. I could enlist him
So-
to help me
Exactly.
overthrow Monkar, who I think has overthrown the king, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that guy showed up, and I'm just like, all right, he'll go meet him
He's-
outside. And he
he's
doesn't.
just
And
like-
then he shows up later, kind of just like, hey, I'm here again.
Did
Yeah.
he show up later?
He
I
did.
can't
He did.
Show up
At the
later.
very end, he shows up with a flame. He's like, and that's about it.
But the king doesn't show back up again. The
No.
rightful king.
Was there a king?
He was the guy in the tent.
Oh, the guy who's
Yeah.
talking before. No, he's like, I've lived in the castle. I will do it again. And then we don't see him.
Yeah.
'cause it's his daughter.
So
Oh.
Barbie Benton is his daughter.
Barbie Benton's his daughter. Yeah.
Right, you're right.
Did,
Okay.
and did
Yes.
they say that?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He's
At
like,
the very beginning.
he stole my daughter, the princess.
Okay.
This guy's sitting in a camping chair in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere with a self-made crown on.
Yeah.
So he's not entirely,
Okay, I should have put that together. She's a princess. That was the king. It
Yeah.
happens. That's the thing with this movie. It's like the incidents happen so fast
Yes.
that you're on to the next thing.
They don't think they specify, but they think they imply that Munkar stole his castle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where they end up going.
Even though Monkar has ruled for longer than most of you have been alive, he has
Right. But
apparently
that
usurped
king is
this
pretty
king.
old,
He is
so
old.
Yeah. And now taken his youthful daughter.
sure.
Okay.
Yep.
And so the king wants Deathstalker to go rescue his daughter, kill Monkar so he can get his throne back. And
And he's like,
Deathstalker
come
goes,
on, back in my day, if a guy heard that there was a woman in trouble, he'd leap at the chance to save her. No
Right,
questions
without any
asked.
thought of his own life.
Yeah.
He's just like, that's not how I live.
Right.
wait, how does he live?
Don't you see anti-hero on my forehead, dude? I don't live by a code of honor.
Yeah, he's like,
strapped to my head with this thing,
Yes.
this bad wig.
he's like, I steal and kill to survive, not for the glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, okay, this is Holly and I got very hung up on this because we're like, do you get glory for stealing and killing?
Right.
Like, I mean, I
What-
get,
Well, right. He's you could be a hero,
I
not
guess.
me. I
Yeah.
kill to survive. Okay, so he's a
Okay.
What do
badass.
you live for, bro?
All right.
yeah.
I know. We don't know what motivates. Well, I guess he kills to survive. Okay, what a
Yeah,
life.
but why does he rape then? What is it? Where does the rape fit into
He
all
just
this?
takes what he wants.
Yeah.
He's living off the grid.
Yor wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it would be given to him because
I
he
just-
deserves it.
If your character's going to be an anti-hero, then you at least need to have a personality to go with it, And
Right.
this
This
guy
guy's
just has no personality.
Not a personality.
And yeah, it's not fun.
It's very stoic. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
gotta make it fun,
Like,
you know?
Make him fun.
So if he turns this down, but he is going to end up there. So he goes to like a hovel in the woods where there is a witch living.
Yeah, it's like his hag friend.
He does just go visit a friend, takes a drink from the rafters,
Yeah.
and he just kind of chugs on and puts it back. Like he's like, "Oh, I remember I left this here last time." The 20-year-old drink.
Right.
And she's like, plot device.
I'm just going to go visit my old witch friend.
Who's being attacked by apparently Munkar in disguise as Kale, the guard.
It's Kang.
Sorry, right?
You've got twisted pear on the mind. That's what you're saying, Kale.
Kale, Kang, Cade.
Kang.
And
she turns a staff into a snake.
Yep. But she gives Deathstalker the, here's your mission. And which he accepts. Why he didn't accept it from the king, I don't know. But so what's the mission is to go find these 3 things, right? So apparently Munkar has the chalice and has now just stolen from her
the amulet.
Because Munkar turns into an owl or a bird, hawk. And flies off.
Yeah.
And she has
come in and caress her.
Right.
And she has a sword that's the third part of it. So she actually was in possession of 2 pieces of whatever.
Yeah, she hid the sword.
Okay.
She had the amulet on her person, but she hid the sword.
Right. And so she gives the sword to Deathstalker and is like, go find the other 2 pieces of this power and you'll be able to set the rules, make the rules for everybody.
Yeah. And she's like sending him on his quest, and he's like, "Will you stop talking to riddles? Just tell me the fucking quest."
Yeah,
and she's like, "No, I will riddle
tell
you
me
3."
to do it. Like,
no. She's like, "Nay, I will riddle you 3."
Yeah. I was gonna say, here are my riddles 3.
I like that she continues to hound him. Even
I know, because he stops at a stream to get a drink, and she's in the water, and he's like, "God damn it, this bitch keeps showing up."
She's like, "Keep going." He's like, "Yeah."
She's like, "There's a cave behind you." He's like, "God damn it. Well, I guess if it's right here."
Yeah.
This is where the sword is hidden, and it is in the custody of who?
I don't know why. I just wanted this. It's like Jeff the Goblin. It's just what this guy feels like.
Salmaran?
It's something like that.
A really bad goblin puppet
or a really great goblin puppet. It's just like it's one of those things where it's just like everything's like human hands and everything, but the head is just like some dude doing a sock puppet head.
Yeah.
But
with a regular voice.
Like articulated eyebrows.
Like a Jewish deli.
Yeah.
Delicatessen.
It's the weirdest voice that comes out of the... Yeah, you're just...
normal voice coming out of a creature.
Yeah. Is it going to be Yoda or something?
Yeah.
It didn't have eyes that I could see. It did eventually.
It did, yeah,
right,
yeah.
Not good ones.
Yeah.
No, when it spoke, you thought it was going to order pastrami and rye.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And this guy...
this guy looks like a goblin who's like, "Hey, you got to smoke?"
Because he's like goblin. He's like, "You got any food?"
Yeah.
Look, I've been here for a while. You got anything like new? Like, I'm stuck in this cave. He is stuck in the cave. He's cursed to be that figure in that cave. He once was human.
And he can only be escorted out of the cave by...
A boy that's not a boy?
Holding the sword.
God.
Yeah.
Did anyone else get flashbacks to when you're playing a video game and you're really drilled into what you're doing and you get thrown a really stupid side quest and you're like, fuck, and now I entered into it and I can't back out. I have to complete the quest to move on, and then it's an escort quest where you have to get a person from point A to point B alive, and I was like, oh no.
I was playing Spider-Man 2, and eventually they will go to Mary Jane and have her do a little quest, and it's just like, I want to be Spider-Man. I don't want to go around as Mary Jane and zapping dudes and try and figure out this shit. I know it helps in the plot, but give me Spider-Man back.
He should have known walking into this cave was going to trigger a cutscene that he had to watch and then figure out the site. Oh, God. Once you see that little autosave pop up in the corner, you know you're about to trigger a cutscene.
But he fights an ogre first.
Right, yeah.
Well, fights.
Yeah.
We gotta be careful. We almost knocked the sets down once in this movie. We can't do it again. So gentle pushing for these
He literally
fights.
just he gets the sword and he just kind of taps the guy's belt and cuts off stuff that's hanging from his belt.
Well, the thing, it's so sharp.
It's so sharp.
Yeah, right.
But it's just tap. Oh, look how easy I can defeat you.
Yeah. So he doesn't kill that guy.
No, the guy runs away.
It's one of the few people that Deathstalker spares in the movie.
Yeah, Ogre runs away.
Because he just kills everybody else. But this guy lets go. And then he turns into a little boy and escorts the goblin out.
He does.
And the goblin turns into an older Argentinian man.
Yep.
With a completely different voice.
Yep.
Augusto Lueta.
And he serves what to the plot? Who is this guy? He becomes a traveling companion because in Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, fantasy, you have traveling companions.
Yeah, but he's not involved in anything. He's there,
He's like
but
the
he doesn't.
Friar Tuck of the story.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
miss he's got to be the religious guy coming off of or he's got to always see the comic relief, always eating the sandwich at the
Or
wrong
give you a piece of
Yeah.
wisdom
opportunity.
when you need it or
Yes.
something. Like
Then
he should have a purpose.
Or he should be a
doesn't, though.
magician or something. He's
There's
gotta,
a few moments where I think they try to make him comic relief, but it doesn't work.
And I think
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
they're going for.
Yeah.
But he doesn't offer anything to
No.
the rest of this story. Again, that's why I wanted him as the goblin character.
turn back and just right around at his shoulder, like the whole way through the
I
movie.
wanted him smaller, and I wanted him to. I wanted Babu Frick. Just
Didn't-
hanging out.
Sorceress have like a satyr that hung out with them? Wasn't one
Yeah,
of
I
their
think
traveling?
so.
Yeah, the goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he never turned into a human. He was always right. He was
Yeah.
always a goat boy.
Oh, everybody go watch Sorceress
Yeah.
and listen to our show.
No, it would have been way better if he had stayed goblin form and just
Yeah.
been like the comedic, like always wanting food.
Right.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
have been funnier. And then
Yeah.
like that goblin form trying to like get with the women who were
Right.
there and everything,
Yeah.
much funnier.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or like there's a woman in front of him and he's like, move, and there's a sandwich behind her. Like,
Right, that's his focus.
that would be funny.
He's like, oh, it's gorgeous. And then you see the sandwich.
It's a
He's like,
sandwich.
"Ah."
Yeah, that would be fucking funny.
That would be funny.
My
Better movie.
Missed
theory is
opportunities.
my theory is that the reason that Rick Hill became a script doctor is because of this movie. That while they were filming it, he was like, "Oh my god, I could do so much better."
There's so much
I love
opportunity
that.
here.
But he didn't on this one.
No,
You're
he
saying
didn't.
that's
He
a-
I wonder if he
didn't.
ever just wrote
Deathstalker 5.
well a story.
He was
that
in the fourth one though.
a
Maybe he
story
fixed that one.
Maybe a story, but that's what I'm saying. A story that was so close to this, it was just like, okay, he was working some shit out, and he wrote his own Deathstalker because. He
Wait,
was
do
in
we know
this.
who wrote Deathstalker 4? Now we're gonna
I
have
don't
to
know.
look into this.
Yeah.
Okay, so traveling companions are amassed as you do. You usually have like the thief, the paladin, the rogue. Oh, that's the
Right.
thief and the.
Ah,
Okay.
Alexa, stop.
So
Ah!
okay, so
Oh gosh, she's dead.
Oh,
She's
pulled
not
the
dead.
plug on her.
She's never dead.
who's the second?
Colin's like holding the pillow over her face right now.
I'm trying to plug it back in. How do you?
Just go to sleep.
It's coming back. So, who is the second traveling companion that we meet, and how?
This is Arcris.
Ogris,
Ogris,
which is
yeah.
Richard Burker.
Richard Burke. Yep.
So he is another warrior, right? Barbarian type, and he is scouring the countryside and just killing dudes.
As you do. Yeah.
And they decide to partner up.
In this case, I think he was saving someone about to be raped, right?
I believe
That's
so.
what he was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it turned out that she was a mom, right?
She was a mom, yeah. So he
Right.
was kind of a
Right.
hero in this moment, saving a yeah.
I know. See, that's what that movie needs to make him less of an anti-hero. You have
Right.
to have.
Because to be honest, I liked him better than
he had more
Deathstalker.
personality.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah.
wonder if he was. I wonder when. What's the sorcerer's name?
Munkar.
Munkar. I wonder when he got to him. If it
Yeah,
was way
right.
before, or if like he's.
I like-
he was a little
or he
virtuous
was
in
like-
saving.
He was like, "Oh, this guy's got something. He's got charisma. I want this guy."
Right. Yeah. He saw him. He's like, come.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
recruited him. He's just like, oh,
I'll
okay.
get you into the inner circle.
I do wonder if they became. He became friends with Deathstalker first, and then was turned, or if the whole time
No,
the plan was.
because later on he has a line which says, "I brought Deathstalker to you."
Right,
So like
that's
his
very true. Okay.
goal was to bring him.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
That was right after. So I guess that's Monkar, right, has identified because of his interaction with the witch that Deathstalker is going to be coming for him somehow.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's plotting against Deathstalker specifically. This is the one guy who might ruin my rule.
Yeah,
Right?
this is the
Mhm.
prophecy, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, because the general or whoever, he like turns into the hawk and flies away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Kang, that's Kang.
yeah, Kang. So that's how he knows the Deathstalker's coming.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's also a little like, I think it was Beastman. That portal shit that's
Oh,
going on.
yeah.
You look
Yeah.
They look into a glass of wine. There's a portal looking at somebody else and everything. They
Mhm.
do it a little bit in this. So there's
That's right.
seeing
She's
things.
the witch is able to show like
Yeah.
here's he's doing evil stuff at his castle.
Mhm.
So Ogress is like, I'm going to the castle because there's so it's under the auspices of, right, that Monkar is going to be dying soon, even though Deathstalker points out he's immortal. So this is a sham. But he's going to host a tournament to find the champion, the strongest person in the land, and make him his heir.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ogress is like, I'm going to be that heir, right? And so I'm going to the tournament, and Deathstalker's like, I'll go with you. And then
he's like, it's a stupid idea because the guy's a sorcerer. He's going to live forever. But okay, I'll go with you.
He's a wily old cat.
He's clever.
And then they meet their fourth traveling companion.
Mm-hmm. And that's Lana Clarkson.
Right. Who's
Kara.
Does she have a name? Kara, yeah.
Kara, the
Kara.
bare-breasted, sword-swinging.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Yeah, comes out boobs blazing.
Yeah.
She's like the stand-in for Valeria, right? And because there was like a subplot that was happening. I thought she sold it, even though the movie really wasn't. Right? That she shows up and Deathstalker and her have sex. They fall in love, right? She falls in love with him. And then they go to the tournament where there's like a welcoming orgy.
Yep.
Like in
the welcome orgy.
Enter the Dragon, right?
Yeah, like any conference that you go to, there's always a welcome orgy.
Is this
right?
Enter the Dragon?
At inaugurations and everything.
Yeah.
This is the welcome orgy.
Right?
Yeah.
The kickoff orgy.
Yeah.
And at that, she's always
right
like,
after happy hour.
she's positioning herself next to Deathstalker like he's mine,
Yeah, she moves a whore out of the way and sits down next to him.
Yeah. And it's like, she's always looking at him like during the thing, like who's he looking at?
And you made a good point in her dress at this point,
yes,
which I thought was like spot on.
She's bare-breasted throughout the majority of the movie.
Of her introduction.
Yeah, her introduction.
And
she's
later as well.
Yeah, it's just a cape and some like strappies, bare breast.
Yeah.
But at the orgy, she's got nipple covers, and I say it's because she's showing everyone that she's not one of the whores. She is. She's one of the heroes.
Yeah,
she's one of the warriors.
Yeah.
She's one of the warriors. Don't
Yeah.
fuck with me. I am also going to be in this tournament.
Do
And
not
she made it
be.
that
Do
far.
not be fooled.
Yeah, right.
Do not let my nipples fool you.
Yes.
I am a warrior. Yes.
Or my lack of nipples fool you.
Yes.
Either way.
Yeah.
That is like all those like Frank Frazetta and Boris Vallejo, especially Boris Vallejo and his wife. I can't remember her name, Julie something, but her stuff is also very much like this. But it's always like all the women in these barbarian paintings are always usually half naked. Well, so are the guys. I guess it's damn hot. It's very sunny.
It's so hot.
Loincloths only. Yes.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons I picked this movie. I was like, it's summer now.
Yes.
Yeah, there
We
you
need
go.
a summer movie. This is a fucking summer movie.
Julie Bell.
Julie Bell.
Julie Bell.
Yeah.
Wife is Boris Vallejo's wife.
Yeah, because if you see some of her artwork too, she was also like a big, like world-class fantasy artist.
Yeah.
So at this welcoming orgy,
The welcome orgy. Yeah.
where we meet,
Do you think they got a welcome packet?
They had a
Yeah.
food break,
Well, they
so
get-
yes.
they get a girl delivered to their room. Well, I guess you just take them and then
They got a coupon for a free girl in
Yeah.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Like
menu,
they have an agenda.
Both menus, food.
The menus, the agenda.
Yeah.
Like entertainment.
You just get
things locally, like nearby.
a
It's
bowl
laminated,
of like
you know,
actual
so it doesn't
water
get,
delivered to your
Here's your
room for the
Here's your
cleanup.
parking pass.
Yeah, so no
for your,
fluids get on
for your horse. Yeah.
Yeah, a stable maybe, right? For you. Yeah.
I love this idea.
Very
But
accommodating, this sorcerer is.
Yes.
Monkar rolls out his new bride, which is Princess, whatever name, Barbie Benton,
Princess Barbie Benton.
which he then chains
Cordeal.
up Cordeal and
Yeah.
chains her up in the middle of the room and says basically like
feast upon my new bride.
whichever one of you can like get her, I guess, gets her.
Yeah. Time to fight. Whoever wins gets her, but kind of, not really.
Yeah. And so a bar brawl breaks out.
And the Pigman.
Pigman.
So he made an impression.
Unexplained. I mean, I get it's a fantasy realm. We're supposed to accept the existence of these characters, but when there's
He's
only
the
one,
only
he's
one,
the only one. That's what makes it stand out so much.
Right. And he just looks like one of the guards of the
Gamorrean
Guards from Star Wars.
Yes,
like,
yeah, he does.
That's
he
exactly
does.
what he looks like.
Yeah,
and I'm
but a
not, in fact,
budget
like, is it
version.
not the same costume, basically?
He
This
doesn't
looks
have a
way
beard.
worse. Yeah.
Is there a Rancor hanging around somewhere?
Yeah, in the
There might
basement.
be.
Yeah, no dragons in this movie.
No dragons.
No,
Possibly a dragon baby.
This is also why Yor gets the edge.
A dragon
Yeah.
baby.
In the chest, Munkar has this pet.
Oh, he's got a...
It
Yeah.
Okay, fuck.
That's never explained
No,
either.
god damn it. The one thing I wanted something a little plus, a little asterisk on this is that thing, whatever it was.
A hand
It's-
puppet.
It is
He
so
gouged the
clearly
guy's
a hand
eye out to feed it to him, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's it. That's all we get.
I know.
I wanted
It's
more.
it's just this like slimy sock puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that
I
lives
said,
in a
it's
chest.
It's an
Yeah.
inside out cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
That's what it
it comes
looks
out of his chest.
Yeah.
His little pet, which I wanted more of. God damn
I
it.
But
did
guess
too. I did
it's like
too.
this, it's like, okay, you got a pig man all of a
Mhm.
sudden out of nowhere. But they did set up like half men, Cro-Magnons at the beginning. There's
Yeah.
this
True.
creature.
Yeah.
There's the goblin. So it's like, it does have that kind
no, I
of
believe it.
80s era.
There's just not enough of them. That's the thing.
Yeah, probably because of
Compared to how many people there are,
Yeah.
like
True.
because of budget. It's
Yeah,
like most of the
exactly.
people are humans.
457,000.
yes.
So imagine
you could put one or two more masks on
Mhm.
people in there and get some different races in this. Come on.
450, like in the cast.
No,
No,
the,
the
money,
budget.
Oh, the budget.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was going to say what?
No.
Like what? I don't remember seeing that many. So yeah, like the pig man, right? Like has come from a far off land
Mhm.
to basically like he's going to claim that. So he's the only. Everybody else is pretty much human except for
Yeah.
him. He's going to be the champion. So we know at some point these guys are going to fight.
Yeah.
I like his fighting style.
He's the what's the fucking guy in Mortal Kombat?
Goro.
Goro. He's
Yes.
the Goro of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ripping arms off. He's beating motherfuckers with parts of other motherfuckers.
Right.
Yes, he is.
Like, he's just going for
That
it.
was great. He's like he's strangling this one guy, right? and he's waiting for somebody to walk past him. When he does, he grabs him, rips his arm off,
Rip
beats
the
the
arm
other guy to
off.
death with the other guy's arm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of beheadings in this movie.
Yeah.
Headings.
Yeah.
That'd be
Like
nice.
that first run, because there's earlier on in the movie, like Deathstalker's on his horse, going for two guys who are coming at him on their horses, and that is what I hoped for. I'm like, all right, we're gonna run down. I hope he swings a sword and heads go flying, and basically that's what we get. So,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more
Flying
that come after
head.
that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
beheadings.
Yeah, you don't really see the impact of much. There's a couple
No.
stabbings.
There's a lot of
that are
hammers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People get hammered.
Mallets and stuff. Yeah.
There's one guy who just shivs people.
Yep.
Yeah.
He does it a couple times.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of blood spray, which
Yeah.
was
Oh
kind of
god,
nice.
that one guy got stabbed, and then
spurt.
wait 5 minutes, and then
Yeah.
cut to a gargantuan blood spray.
Yes.
It was beautiful,
Good blood spurts.
and they reused that blood spurt later on in the movie,
Yeah.
They do.
real
Yeah.
quick. But that first one was pretty great.
Where was I'm confusing my tournaments here. Oh, because the actual tournament has to happen. This is just the fight, but to get the girl.
Right.
And Deathstalker
Right.
gets Barbie Benton.
Yeah, he like
And-
cuts her chains, picks her up, and he's gonna leave with her.
Yeah.
And so this leaves Lana Clarkson like, what the hell? Like he's taking off with
She's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we not just fuck last night?
Right. Exactly.
although she does seem like the only person in the room that's like, we got to save this woman.
She does actually
Yeah.
want to save her. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Deathstalker does, and then Monkar's like, I'll have her sent to your room later. And so but Monkar has a secret plan because he knows he has to kill Deathstalker,
Yep.
the only guy who's going to challenge his rule. What is
Because that has been the whole point of this tournament, was to get the strongest people together, kill them all.
Yeah.
So I will have no
So
one
no-
who's going to try and usurp my throne.
what is his secret? How's he gonna hoodwink Deathstalker?
He's gonna turn his little minion into Barbie Benton.
Now describe in detail, Holly, how this process goes.
Yeah.
No, this is a really great transformation scene.
It is, it
It really is.
So he when he realizes what is about to happen, he's literally like, no.
Well, first, like the sorcerer Munkar
Mhm.
is just like, he needs to be killed, but you need to kill him.
Mhm.
And then he's just like does a little hand movement, like he's gonna be like, "Oh."
Magic.
Mhm.
And then the guy's just like, no.
He's like, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was hoping for, and this is for anybody who's watched the Critters movies, in Critters 2, one of the No Faces looks at a Playboy magazine and suddenly transforms into a Playboy model. It's kind of what I was hoping would happen.
Because doesn't
here.
like the boobs like
The boobs
pop
pop
out?
out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
right.
amazing.
Yeah, there's
I remember
There's like-
that.
as
Yeah,
things move and expand and blow up and everything. kind of hoping we were going to get here.
Yeah.
Not quite.
I was like, they did their best with what they had.
They did their best, and it's all paid off in pretty much his reactions to what's going on.
The way the actor,
it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, I love that the actor's like, we're gonna make this clear in case anyone doesn't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab my crotch and scream, "It's gone!"
Yeah.
Because at first he's like feeling his chest because you can he's like his hands start moving out. You can tell that he's developing breasts, and then he reaches down and grabs his crotch and yells, "It's gone!" and then it cuts to what's clearly like Barbie Benton's crotch.
We see thighs, like, lips. He's like, his eyes.
We don't see anything like actually transforming. We just see cuts.
No, just cuts to it,
But it works.
Well done.
But you get it.
It works because he's funny.
Yeah.
And this is basically the transfer. There's a bunch of people transform into different shapes in this movie. And that's usually what they do. You know, there's a snake on the ground. You pick down or grab it in one shot, and then the next shot you're standing up with a rod. It's transforming. You're doing the same thing with the transformation sequences.
Yep.
So the fake princess goes to seduce Deathstalker, but is unsuccessful. Because he identifies that she's not who she says she is. He was actually like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, is that because he really doesn't know who she is? Or because he thinks that because he hasn't been introduced to her. Like, does he know who this person is other than it's Moncar's bride?
Right. No, like, well, I mean, he knows it's the princess that he was asked to get in the beginning. I think he knows that.
He knows that, right?
Because they announce that it's the princess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this, is he like, "Who are you?" Because he knows.
Yeah, because she pulls a knife out.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't really see how that is a giveaway.
Yeah.
I feel like...
But somehow he was like, "Get out of this bed."
I'm like, she's here against her will. Why is it weird that she's pulling a knife out? But okay.
Yeah.
But sure.
Like, she doesn't know you, bro. So, like, she comes with a knife.
Yeah. But either way, he sees that it's not her.
And kicks her out of the room before she can assassinate him. And then in the hallway, she's met by Lana.
First of all, he wrestles with her for like 15 minutes in an awkward before he's like, "You're not you."
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I missed a lot of stuff in this movie. I think I was like, what actually keyed him off?
I felt like I was missing a lot.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It was a wrestling match for 10 minutes and he's like, "You're not you." That was it.
Yeah, no, it was literally like she pulls a knife and he just knows that it's not her. Which
I thought maybe she grunted in a male voice or something, but okay. So,
a goatee shows up real quick. He's like, "It's not you."
But Lana Clarkson finds her out in the hallway and is like,
and pulls her to her bare breasts and says, "Let's get you some clothes."
Yes.
Yeah, the half naked one was like, "We should get you some clothes."
You're so indecent. Yeah.
But
cover yourself, woman. I feel like she's just she's a warrior. Like
it's like, a power move on the men that I'm sure she's around all the time.
Her chest exposes the same thing as
Deathstalker's
chest.
Yeah.
Like there is no difference to her.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what those fantasy paintings and all that kind of were trying to imply. Very sexy though.
That's why she's like, "You need to be dressed."
Yes. You're not a warrior. Yeah.
But she is surprised when it turns out that surprise, it's not the princess, it's the henchman, and he's got a knife, and
he stabs her.
Yeah, and she's out of the movie, and I was like, "What?" I kind of liked her. Like, what the fuck?
She got like barely stabbed in the side. And she's like, "I'm dead. I'm gone."
Yeah, and Deathstalker's like, "Oh, bummer." And then and I was like, "Well, because for the economy of storytelling, you can't have two female leads. He's got to end up with one of them."
Why can't he have both?
Right? Like Warrior and the Sorceress, am I right? But
I wanted Lana Clarkson to end up with the princess.
I know. Oh, with the princess.
Yeah. Right. But I also wanted her to like. She should have killed Ogress.
Yeah.
Like that should have been a thing.
Right.
The lower level ones fighting and like she beats him while he goes after the bigger bad.
This is
This is not that kind of movie show.
No, I guess not. There could have been better storytelling within this movie, I think.
And we find out that Ogress is a double agent.
He is.
Because he's like strung up on a water wheel at some point.
And he's like, "Are you comfortable?" And he's like, "Not really."
Yep.
But then Moncar lets him down. He's like, haha, it's like, well, I brought him here, Deathstalker, for you to kill him, and I can kill him because he thinks I'm his friend.
We are friends.
But Deathstalker has overheard this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
Thank God.
Because he's stalking the halls.
Yeah.
And I see what we did there.
Like.
Yeah. And so when Ogress goes to attack him, he is aware that
And we get the sexiest wrestling scene.
they fight
Yeah. What
in
was your?
a
All right. Hold
bed
on.
chamber.
What was your IMDb experience?
Oh, yeah.
with stuff like this.
Yeah, the IMDb
The warning
always has
section?
warnings, and there's like 131 of them, and one of them was homoeroticism.
Because I
Yeah.
assume they're
Hi.
like
It's a
tags.
hi. Yeah.
I assume they're like tags, right? So if you're
Yeah.
searching for a keyword, it'll show
Correct.
up. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, because someone out there is keyword searching homoeroticism because they don't want to venture into any
Right,
of
they,
it.
yeah, they don't.
Do
I don't-
yeah.
something.
They're like, I don't want to watch any of that
Yeah,
add to
yes,
list.
yes.
I should Google it to figure out what I shouldn't watch.
Which movies have this tag? So
Nipples was one of them.
you do have a bunch, two like
Nipples very
oiled,
high.
oiled,
Only
muscular
Batman,
guys,
a Batman movie rates higher.
Yes.
and they are wrestling on a bed here.
Yes.
So
The
like,
canopy.
Yeah.
Very comfortable looking.
Yes.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
does this do the same for you that all the boobs and bare butts do for the rest of the movie?
Yeah,
Is this an equal opportunity movie?
Like two muscular men throwing each other
It doesn't
around.
do the same thing.
Well, these two just don't.
No.
I don't know. The cheapness of the looks in this movie really doesn't help anything. That's just these two. Not
Yeah.
these two.
Well, Deathstalker bests Ogress and
Yes.
kills him.
He does. He's like, sorry.
Cracks him. Sorry,
my
friend.
friend. Crack.
I think the
Yeah.
other sidekick is still around, right? At
Yeah,
this point in
Yeah,
time?
at one point he falls into the harem room and he just kind of stays there.
That's
Falls into a
basically-
pit
yeah.
and drops 100 feet into the pool, into the
Yeah.
harem room. What'd you get? It would have been funnier if he was a puppet.
I believe when Ogre
And funnier if he looked past them at their plate of your table
Yeah.
of food.
Yeah, exactly.
it just-
That would've been
nothing really
funny.
seems to happen.
Yeah.
Although his presence inspires them to stab their captors to death when the guys.
Is that what it was?
No.
I don't know.
It felt like there was a plan. I don't know. We don't see it concocted or anything, but that when the soldiers do come in, that these women will overtake them, stab them
Yep.
all in their effort to escape.
Yeah.
Yep. So they
Again,
will
we
win
don't
their
know this
freedom
until it's happening.
by the end of the movie, even though I'm not sure how that applies to anything.
Yeah.
And then we get the big showdown that we have been waiting for, and that is
Oh, because they had a tournament. We didn't talk about that.
Oh,
They
fuck.
had a tournament.
right where the pig man hammered a man to slime.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was pretty gross.
It was very gross.
Slime looked pretty nasty.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. In
There was a
Deathstalker.
pig man. There was like a giant
No, there was a
man.
hammer dude.
There was like
Oh.
a giant hammer dude.
Sorry.
He hammered. And he
Did
hammered the
Pigman
guy
get
who
killed?
shivved everybody. I don't know what happened to Pigman. Got his. I don't know what happened to Pigman.
I
Yeah.
don't remember him getting
I
killed.
think we got to a certain part in the tournament, and then it didn't matter.
Yeah, because
Deathstalker kills Pigman.
Deathstalker doesn't participate in the tournament. That's why Ogress becomes the champion who's then brought down into the basement and hung on the wheel, right? And then he's like, haha, you only won, but I'm going to kill you. And he's
Did he
like, no,
win?
I'm working for you. Remember, I'll bring Deathstalker here.
He doesn't. No, their plan was all along.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe that was it, where he was like, no, let me down. And
The final fight is Deathstalker and Pigman.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's the final tournament fight.
Final tournament fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened to Pigman?
oh, okay. Then I don't remember
Yeah.
this
What
at
happened
all.
to
And I
Pigman?
just
No,
watched it.
I was gonna say, what happened to Pigman? How do we kill Pigman? Yeah.
He
Yep.
stabs him. Pigman comes running at him and he grabs
Oh,
the
that's
sword.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
stabs him through the gut.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's real quick.
Real quick, because I have no memory.
But at the end of the movie,
Mhm.
Deathstalker will take on Munkar, the
Munkar.
magician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Who does some Doctor Strange shit in the end of this?
that was
movie.
kind of cool.
It was cool.
He made a bunch
Yeah.
of copies of
He
himself,
did. He
Mhm.
did.
which was pulled off pretty good. One
Yeah.
of them was like the guy stands there in the foreground, and then the camera turns to the right, and you see like three guys in the background all wearing masks that look like him.
Yep.
And then he scurries
He
around.
scoots around.
And so
And
he's
comes
there in the
back.
foreground again,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, nice! Look at all these
That's right.
Munkars."
Yeah. Simple
doesn't-
solutions to complicated
Yeah.
problems.
Because
So-
Deathstalker fights a version of Munkar and gets the amulet.
Right.
Yeah. He beheads him, but then he picks up his head and puts it back.
That
in.
was Kang, or the Kang
It
version.
was,
Yeah, the
it
Kang
was
version
Kang,
of
but
it,
it's
yeah.
a version of Munkar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Heads him,
he gets the
Munkar
amulet,
puts his
he's
head
got
back
the
on.
sword.
Yeah, so now he's got 2 of the 3 Deathly Hallows.
He does, but all right. So then he faces off against multiple of
Right.
Mankar.
That's
all
where
right.
the Doctor Strange thing happens.
Doctor Strange, and then Doctor Strange conjures up a bunch of fire, And the only yeah, exactly. And how this ends is that Deathstalker just walks through the fire and is like,
and takes
give me
his
that.
cup.
Just yanks it out of his hand.
That's it. He just walks to the
takes
fire
his cup.
and just yanks the cup out of his hand.
he
No,
has
Colin.
been
That's
aided.
it.
The witch, spirit shows up. It says, "See through the illusion, Deathstalker.
Yeah, it's
you
not
already
real."
have the power."
Yeah, all right. The sorcerer lights up his sword and makes it look like it's burning, and it looks like he's got scars on his hands and everything. So he uses the red Infinity Stone to make it look like the Reality Stone and makes him fuck up his reality. The witch comes back again, says, "Hey, don't fall for that shit." He
But then I
doesn't.
think Munkar banishes her to another dimension or
Yeah.
something. Blasts her away.
But as she's like leaving, she's like, "You can do this."
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And Deathstalker does walk
Regret
up
nothing.
and just grab the chalice.
He's like,
And then
"Gimme."
he's just like, ugh. He just grabs it from.
So now he has the power.
He has Deathly Hallows.
He is
yeah.
the power now.
Yeah.
And what does he do with the power?
He destroys.
He cuts to credits.
He uses the stones to destroy the
Yeah.
stones.
He's like, "No one should have this power," and Harry snaps the wand.
He snaps the Elder Wand and throws it away.
Okay,
at the end,
which
so nobody else can.
that
have
always
it.
bothered me because if this thing is so fucking powerful, maybe we should make it out of something that can't just snap like a twig, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
like
not sure how he did it. He summoned
What is
lightning.
magic worth if you could just snap
you
it?
snap it, and it's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah,
With. Yeah.
well, he holds the power, so he summons the
So
power.
we come
To
away
destroy
from this
the
movie with
power.
questions
Destroy.
about 3 different franchises.
Yeah.
before-
I'm just saying, if it's the Elder Wand, so fucking important, and why is it made out of bone or
Yeah.
something that's sturdier?
Like adamantium.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause what,
exactly.
you
Right.
can't kill Deathstalker while he's holding the sword. You would assume the sword itself
Yeah.
cannot be destroyed.
Yeah.
But
it's like in
again-
a video game when you have to kill the big boss when its mouth is open.
Yeah, exactly.
and what
You gotta
happens?
shoot his 3
Yeah.
eyeballs first,
Yeah.
and then when his mouth is open.
And what happens to Monkar? Wow,
So
is he dealt
Munkar
with?
just cowers to the side, and then he's like, "No one should have this power," and he throws him to the village people.
Oh yeah, and the village
Yep.
will tear him apart. Oh, and then he gets split in half.
He gets split in half.
Yeah.
I was
Horses,
disappointed. I thought
I
they
know.
showed us 2 horses, and so I'm like drawn and quartered, which you never see in movies.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you know a movie where that happens, let me know. I'd like
Yeah.
to see it. But he was drawn in
gets,
half.
He gets halved,
He
not
is.
quartered.
I
Yeah.
wanted more of a
rip.
we see the split.
Yeah.
I mean,
We see the
yeah,
rip,
you
but-
see,
have
you
money
see
for
it
it.
starting to happen, and then
Yeah.
it cuts to blood spurt, and you see guts on the ground.
Yeah.
It's good for what they had.
It's
yeah, it
difficult
wasn't
to
bad, but it wasn't super.
No, yeah.
It wasn't
impressive.
super effective.
Yeah.
I know.
No,
That guy
it wasn't
gets
that
pulled in
cheering
half.
moment for this big bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Vanquished.
he's destroyed the Deathly Hallows. Munkar has been split in half and cut to credits.
So does he get the girl?
What
Cut
girl?
to credits,
Okay.
Colin.
There are no
Right.
girls anymore. We cut to credits,
Barney
it's like-
Benny's
we wait
still there.
for the sequel.
But
we saw
the
a
way
trailer
it
for.
cuts to credits is like a sword cutout comes over his face, and then it pulls out into a yellow and red field. It looked like it was going to go to TV credits or next week on Deathstalker. The way it moved so quickly, and it was so out of step with the tone of the movie that I was just like, whoa,
Own.
whoa, yeah.
And some of the music on this was just like next week on Deathstalker.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
fit-
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah.
music was kooky.
Yeah.
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 Choices were made.
I mean,
Yeah.
they could have said next time on Deathstalker and would have been right because
Yeah.
there was
They
more.
would've been.
Yeah.
Because we
Next time on
Yeah.
Deathstalker, we're going to give you Bruce Campbell.
we
Low
did
rent.
watch the trailer for Deathstalker 2, and I am immediately interested.
So what if I told you
Oh,
that Deathstalker 2 is not a serious movie at all? It
I
is-
gathered that. Yeah.
no!
What if I told you it was directed by Jim Wynorski?
Of course it is.
And what if I told you it is the best regarded of the Deathstalker
Is it
movies?
really?
Yeah,
What if-
because it's
All right, I'm interested.
Like, what if I told you we might bookend the summer with it?
Deathstalker 2.
I wouldn't be mad. I'll tell you that.
We didn't even. Not that the director of this has any real credibility, but I did want to point out his assistant director jobs because I thought they were fun because
Oh.
he didn't direct very much on his own,
Okay.
but he directed. He was assistant director on John Tucker Must Die
Wow.
and Frailty, which we did on this
Oh,
show,
yeah. Wow.
and Reindeer Games. He was a producer on.
yeah.
But then the one I really wanted to point out, he shot the notorious additional rape scene for Humanoids of the Deep.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. The one that doesn't
All right,
feel like
so
it's
is he-
part of the
is he on
movie.
the wall?
Roger Corman ordered an additional rape
Yeah,
scene,
I
and
remember that,
he directed that.
So is this man on the wall? We've got 2 at least.
I was
what were the other ones you
te-
mentioned?
Technically,
Well, no, 3.
I was like,
right?
technically,
Frailty,
yes, he's
humanoids
on the
from
wall.
Yeah, so he's on the wall.
Yeah.
Frailty, humanoids, the deep in this.
This man's on the wall.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wow. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day.
There you go.
All right. Well, we are going to tell you if we would recommend that you watch Deathstalker. But first, we're going to answer some of your mail. And in order to do that, we're going to have to summon our mailman. Igor, bring us the mail.
Masters, the mail. I've got the mail. So many letters. Our followers are rising.
Why, thank you, Igor.
Thanks, sir.
Loincloth.
Yeah.
This week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or a pig face.
It's not long enough, Igor.
Yeah. It's not that hot out yet, okay? We can.
Yeah, calm down.
Yeah.
Plus, it's cold in the basement.
Yeah.
Put some clothes on. You whore.
Cover those nipples.
Cover those nipples.
Okay, so we should let the good folks at home know how they can participate on this interactive portion of our show by following along on Facebook,
Facebook.com/SaturdayNightFreakShow.
on X,
At Set Freak Show.
by email,
CenterFreakShow@yahoo.com.
or on Instagram at Saturday Night Freak Show. About tonight's movie Deathstalker, Pat Hatfield writes in and says, I'm interested to see what Stephen Psycho Gorman Katinsky is going to do with this remake. Incidentally, have you four covered the first sequel yet? It's pure stupid 80s fun. I didn't know there was a remake in the...
There is a remake. I don't know much about it. I didn't recognize anyone in it.
All the people from those...
It was completed last year, I think.
Oh, so it's done.
It's
Oh,
done.
no, really?
Because
I
if you
think
hadn't
so.
said it's done, I would say there's no way it's being made.
I think it barely got finished last year.
I think it's barely going to be a movie. I'm going to
Well,
give
those
No,
guys,
like-
they
I'm
make... I mean, that's like... They used to be like Astron 5 or something, right? The Psycho Gorman, the editor,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
the Void and all that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have no idea where this resides.
Hey, if it comes out,
but
I'll watch
it exists somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be on Shudder probably
Yeah.
or something.
All right.
Nelson Nascimento says, I steal and kill to stay alive, not for the luxury of glory. Growing up with this, Conan, and a few others, hard not to have nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Whitaker says, well, if there was a trend and he could make a buck off it, Roger Corman was there.
Yep.
Correct.
Seriously, though, you have to give the man credit. He knew where the trends were. He knew how to make a film at or under budget, and he got it done in time. Cinema and the bad movie world are all the better for having him in it. True.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah,
He's-
like this man bested the Italians. As
Oh,
far as
yeah.
ripping shit off.
Mhm.
And I do like that when I see his name on something, it does establish a baseline of what to expect. You
Yes.
know, like
100%.
I'm like, okay, this will probably be entertaining, even though it's probably gonna be
Right,
dumb.
and that's
You
it.
know,
Yeah, it's just like, oh, Roger Corman. All right,
All
I
right.
think I'm gonna like that.
yes,
Like, all right, so take the seriousness down.
right.
Yeah.
Seriousness
Yeah.
down, the exploitation level up,
Yeah.
and enjoy.
And
Yeah.
so many genres he did.
So
like
many.
we're never even going to cover like most
No.
of the stuff, you know, because
No.
biker movies and nurse movies.
We could change this podcast to only doing
Yeah.
Roger Corman movies
Yeah,
and
and
have
you
content for
never
years.
run out.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
Did he ever do nun-sploitation?
Oh, I'm sure if you dig
I
deep
don't,
enough, maybe.
I don't recall a nun one, but the Italians did those.
Was it Unholy Rollers? Did he do that?
I'll look that up.
So the writer of this movie wrote Unholy Rollers and also Vampire Hookers, Saturday the 14th, Space Raiders, Barbarian Queen, Lords of the Deep, and then later on he went on to do Care Bears, Rainbow Bright, and Baby Love Lost, which I love.
Perfect.
Unholy Rollers.
Yeah.
Well, James Boyce says, I recall my parents renting this and popping it in, expecting a mature but family-friendly swords and sorcery adventure. Boy, it did not take long for Mom to smash the eject button. I honestly don't think I've ever truly watched it. I'll be sure to gather the family around our tiny TV so we can watch it the way Roger Corman intended.
I love that. Yeah, this is totally one my parents would have
Oh, yeah.
thrown away had they seen me watching it.
Holy Rollers. What am I looking here? Story by, screenplay by Howard Cohen, who did this movie.
Yes, that's what I just
There we
said.
go. Did
Yeah.
you?
I literally
That's what
just
she
said
just
I missed it.
it like 30 seconds ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was paying attention to.
Is it nunsploitation?
It's roller skating, but is it nuns?
No, it's
That'd be awesome. A team of
That would be amazing.
nuns who decide to like moonlight as roller derby girls.
Yes.
no. That's that other movie that
Oh.
that Tom.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
The
Yeah.
apocalyptic.
rollerblades or
I
No,
can't remember.
sisters. Something sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't remember if it was Holy Rollers or if it's sisters. Something sisters.
Yeah. Yep. I'll find it.
Mark Daniels 2000 writes in and says this film is made for the freak show. Sword and sorcery
Agreed.
epic in the Roger Corman style. Not a great movie, but never boring. Great Boris Vallejo movie poster artwork. Do you guys feel that the movie artwork back in the day is so much better than the photoshopped movie posters of today?
Yes.
So much.
Because
So much better.
They've gone from being art to being like a piece of marketing collateral that has to like fit contractual obligations. Like you guys know, like certain stars these days have things in their contract where their name has to be so big on a poster, their face has to be so much percentage of a poster. Like there's so much politics that go into it now between everyone involved. It's like it's lost any art form for the most part.
I agree.
And then every once in a while when a movie does do a really artistic poster and then they sell it, it goes crazy on the internet and people fucking love it. And
Yep.
So when they do like those alternative posters, like they there's a studio poster and then there's like this alternate, which also seems like a studio release, but are those the ones that like, okay, this doesn't conform to the, the rules of the main poster, the key art has to have.
Yeah.
it's a bummer. It's a lost art form.
Last week we watched The Hills Have Eyes. Oh, James Boyce writes in again and says, am I going to get roasted for saying I think the remake is better?
No, I think I might agree. I don't know. I don't know about better,
I
but
think we were
The Hills Have Eyes.
The Hills Have Eyes. No, I mean, it's the same story. It's just two approaches to it.
Yeah,
you're not going to get roasted.
Yeah.
I can
I
see
agree
why.
with that.
Yeah. Rollerblade was the 1986. But,
Rollerblade? Okay.
Was the Nun.
Okay.
The Nun movie. A low-budget post-apocalyptic film featuring roller skating nuns who aid a rebellion.
Yeah.
All right.
Not produced by Roger Corman.
I don't think so.
Okay. Not a 1986 would have been New Concord.
Unholy, I think, Unholy Rollers is roller skating, but it's not. I don't think it's not nuns.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway.
Travis Legler says it was about Hills Have Eyes. Seeing how the Beast reacted, I want to believe our beast of a dog, Fezzik, with his 140-pound mass, would do the same. We saw him send a warning to a coyote that wandered near our yard when he was playing outside with my son playing. As soon as it ran away, he was back to being a silly pup with his boy.
Love that.
I like that 140-pound dog. Like the first line of defense is like it's a visual deterrent. It's like, look, I have a 140-pound dog. I love it. That's the first thing. And then anything past that, it's your own fault because you saw the 140-pound dog. Yeah, love it.
Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, we watched Twisted Pair. Michael Whitaker wrote in again and said, Neil Breen movies aren't so much like nightmares as they are like those weird, vivid dreams I have where literally nothing happens. And for some reason, they sit with me for a whole day.
Yes, exactly. Because literally nothing happens in those movies. And they do sit with you for maybe a lifetime. I don't know. I don't think I can unsee Neil Breen stuff, you know?
Did you go further and watch any more Neil Breen stuff?
I don't ever want to watch.
No.
I have not built up my stamina yet for that again.
That will not be an active decision on our part.
It won't be a solo adventure.
No.
Yeah. I wasn't over that for a few days. And we've got enough going on in life right now.
Michaela,
it needs to be
call me if you're ever on the verge of watching a Neil Breen movie on your own.
Oh my God.
Like, talk to us.
Yeah.
This is like if I ever get abducted, my signal is going to be, guys, I'm about to watch a Neil Breen movie by myself.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yes,
Be like, okay, we need to go
yeah.
welfare check on Michaela.
Yeah,
we may need to
100%.
show up in person.
No, that's a midnight movie or bust. No other way.
That's it.
Well, we want to thank each of you for writing in. We really appreciate it.
We really do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And now we're going around the table to tell you what we thought of tonight's movie, Deathstalker, starting with
Michaela, what'd you think of Deathstalker?
You know, I kind of agree with the I'm sorry, I forget who wrote in and said that it's not a great movie, but it's never boring. And I think that's totally sums it up
Never
right
boring
there.
and quick.
It's an hour and 20 minutes. I love cheap, low budget fantasy stuff. I love that it all looks the same from this time. It looks like it's the same costumes and sets like passed around, you know, especially the lower budget ones, really. But it's, you know, cinema is a spectrum. And
cinema is a spectrum.
And who's to say one end is good and one end is bad? It's just movies all existing in different planes, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's nice
That's a fair way to look at it.
And it's just nice to visit some different planes every once in a while.
We're going down to this end of the spectrum tonight.
Exactly. You know, I can't say I would recommend this to most people, but to the people who are watch our show, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's no Yor, but there's only one Yor.
There's only one
Correct.
Yor.
But I do like imagining these fictional worlds where Yor would kick this guy's ass and stuff like this. Because it is fun to compare them because they have like the same tropes they indulge in, but it's funny to see how they get there,
Yes.
And this movie seemed like it was trying to dodge like common tropes in Sword and Sandal, but then still falling into them somehow. It's like it wanted to be smarter than it, but it wasn't smarter than it. It's a fun time. It's quick. It's worth watching. Like I said, I was never bored. Didn't know where it was going. A little too rapey, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Don't love that aspect of it. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, we get it. My God, how many times do I have to do the same scene? But still a fun time. I enjoyed it. Sean, what'd you think? I recommend it.
I agree. I think I'm going to recommend it as well, just because, we haven't gone through a lot of this type of Sword and Sandal movie, but I mean, like, it is a type. It is. You do have fun with it. The adventure of it. Again, they're not. They aren't deep movies, but that's not what you're coming to this. You're coming for the swords, the sandals, and the nakedness, and that it's going to offer you that in abundance. It is fun. It is helped by only being an hour and 20 minutes. God bless it. Yeah, I think if you're going to the movie, if you're going into this movie, I think you're gonna know what you're gonna get, or you should know what you're going to get, because that's what you're looking for and that's what you're gonna enjoy. And I think if you like this type of movie, you will like this movie, obviously. So I'll recommend it. It was never bored. It was fun. Again, it's a little too rapey, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
It would only be 30 minutes long if
it wasn't, right? Right?
Be an episode of Xena, Princess Warrior, if they cut it out,
Right. But if you like all that, you're gonna like this movie. There are entertaining bits. It's hilarious when it doesn't mean to be, and it's entertaining because of that. Yeah, I'll recommend it. Deathstalker. I am down for Deathstalker 2.
Yeah, me too.
Whenever it's going to happen, and it will happen.
I want to see this broke ass Bruce Campbell wannabe trying to do this thing.
Too.
Do you think when Army of Darkness came out, he was just like screaming at the sky? That's what he wanted,
Yes. So I sit here and recommend this to you, and I wait for the sequel, and I think you will too. So let's recommend. Colin, what did you think of Deathstalker? You own the 4-pack, not of all the Deathstalkers, but 2 of them.
I hadn't actually seen Deathstalker when I got, because it was an opportunity to have 4 Roger Corman sword and sorcery movies.
Good buy.
Watched them all. I'm a fan of Conan the Barbarian. I think we were saying on that. I think that's one of the best movies ever made.
We have delved into
that's my bar for But I like fantasy movies. But I like that type of fantasy movie, and this is kind of doing it's trying to be serious, right? Where Deathstalker 2 is like a comedy. So I was like, okay, we got barbarian dude running around hacking people up. There's tons of naked women, a lot.
Yep.
I mean, countless in this movie. Roger Corman is loaded it up with all the exploitation elements. There's beheadings, you said, and violence, and but the first time that I watched it, like I said, it was it was distasteful because I'm like, oh, she's not into that, and I was like, I mean, I've seen other movies with rape in it where I guess as a crime or as a it's horrifying, it's like, okay, I get that within the movie, but this movie seems to be condoning it in some way because your hero participates in it. I guess I just kind of left and I've since seen it twice since, and I'm watching it tonight, and I don't know, desensitized, I guess, and I'm like, okay, I see the other things that are going on in the movie. It has I think some of the performers are having a lot of fun, and some of the photography stuff that they do, I thought was kind of cool. The red fire and the blue lighting behind it.
Some good lighting, some fun lighting.
Yeah, even they're trying to go for those fantasy poster looks at the end where he's in the room trying to go for the
orange on the cover of this, and when he's going up and hitting the amulet with the thing, they're really going for it in those moments. Yeah,
and I like it.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And so overall, it's like, well, it had action, it had fun, and like I guess I'm going to recommend Deathstalker. I think I don't know, like, it's been a while since I've seen Deathstalker 2. Just for like the entertainment value might be higher because it's like so loopy.
Yeah, it looked loopy.
Yeah, and this one is like, you kind of, it's like, okay, you got Beastmaster, you got Yor, you got Sorceress, you have the Sword and the Sorcerer, you've got the Italian ones doing Hercules with Lou Ferrigno and Ator the Fighting Eagle, and like, there's just, so like we could plumb the depths of, 80s fantasy sword and sorcery cinema. Where has this genre gone?
Where?
And, especially I was hoping with Stranger Things kind of putting Dungeons and Dragons back into the public consciousness that we'd have. But I mean, we got to guess Game of Thrones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like highbrow stuff. But you don't have like the Barbarian, maybe the Northman. That's the closest Vikings.
Maybe,
but not Barbarian.
Was that Viking show anywhere near any of this type of stuff?
I mean, that was
an A&E show, so I can't imagine it would be.
There's several hundred years later, I suppose.
Even with the Northman, it's still not quite like this.
Yeah,
it's
not trashy like this.
Yeah.
It's not.
I was gonna say that doesn't.
Gods of Egypt gets there a little bit.
The big budget.
It goes really
Alex
surreal.
Croy,
Yeah. Stay tuned for that. It'll come eventually.
Yeah,
it'll come eventually.
I don't think I ever finished that movie,
Really?
so that'll be the challenge of
okay.
actually watching the show.
Right,
you will watching it all the way to the end. So I would recommend Deathstalker. Holly, what'd you think?
Yeah, so this one's been in my back pocket for a while. I think we had just watched Sorceress when I watched it, so I was like, okay, I need to hold off for a while.
Yeah.
But
even Sorceress, that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and because I forgot about it.
That was you, me,
like 5
Colin,
years.
and Travis.
It was longer than 5 years. Yeah. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
And I just kind of forgot about it. Like, it was on my list, and I just overlooked it. And then, just recently I was like, oh, it's time. It's time. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are going to bookend it. We're gonna watch
part two.
We're gonna watch part 2 later in the summer. So I'm telling you that right now.
We can have the summer of as Michaela has established.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that next time on Deathstalker 2.
Yes.
I'm gonna recommend it. I think it's fun. I think you guys said it all. It's exactly what you think it's gonna be once you know that it's that it's a sword and sorcerer movie.
Look at that cover art.
Yeah.
You know that.
You got to get past the title, though, because the title, like I said, our Family Feud board is not yellow.
Once you know what it is, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But at first it sounds like a Charles Bronson movie.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like I obviously have a huge issue with rape scenes in movies, but this one doesn't bother me. I think it's because it's so lackluster.
I was gonna say this is gonna be a weird thing to say, but it's a different kind of rape.
No, it's not.
And again,
it's
I know
not
that's
intense.
a weird thing to say.
No, it's not intense. It's not realistic. It's very like.
It's not irreversible.
It's lazy. Does that make sense?
What'd you say?
It's lazy.
It's yeah.
Like she's like, no, don't rape me, but I guess whatever. Like it's just very lackluster. So I'm like, it doesn't bother me as much because it's very staged and fake.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel real at all. So that's why it doesn't bother me. Right. Yeah. It's the ones that feel realistic that I'm like, okay, go fuck yourself because I can't. No, I can't. But this one, it's just everything seems ridiculous, so it doesn't bother me. I think it's a fun movie. I'm excited for the sequel. It's going to be a different part of the sword and sorcery spectrum, as Michaela said.
Yeah.
This one had some good stuff. It's cheap. It's so stupid. Not everyone's going to love it, but I think if you listen to our show, you should watch it for sure.
Yeah, especially in preparation for Deathstalker 2. Which is coming.
It is coming. Stay tuned.
Which should have been the tagline. Deathstalker 2, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Take it that how you will.
So I think that's 4 recommends.
It is. That means you're contractually obligated by listening to the show to watch it. Next week, we're going to watch a movie that's chosen by
Michaela. What are we going to watch next week?
Well, Megan 2.0 is coming out probably about the time you're hearing this. So we're going to watch a movie that dares to ask the question, what if Megan was Megan Fox? We're going to watch Subservience from the year 2024, the Netflix original movie, Subservience.
All right.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Territory we don't get into very often.
Yes.
Let's do it.
The secret movie they told no one about that they put out last year. Yes.
Yeah.
All
All right. Well, it's Subservience next week on the Saturday Night Freak Show. We hope you'll join us. And until then, ladies and germs, the basement is going dark.